and start, don't you? Sure.
Okay. You want to go ahead and start?
Well, this is kind of your show, Dr. Brown. I would just say welcome to everybody who is thinking about running for the school board. I appreciate the effort taken to get information about it. You know, I think it's one of those offices that people hear about and know nothing about. And all of us can swear to our steep learning curve getting on the board. So all the better to get a little heads up about what's involved with what does the board do, what does it not do. And so I welcome everyone here who's learning more about it. And certainly this will help you if you decide to run, to know you know, what is involved and what your aspirations are. So so please, if you have any follow-up questions, Dr. Brown or any member of the school board will be very, very happy to fill in the blanks. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye, as we can all attest. And we all just appreciate your interest in helping the children of the school district.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I want to thank everybody for giving up some time tonight as well. I'll try to go through things fairly quickly, give you resources, and then probably the best thing at the end is just doing some question and answer as we move back and forth. Feel free to turn your camera on if you want so we can see you. We'll try to do things as routinely as we can. There's a place where you can raise your hand if you want to talk. Again, if you don't have that figured out, we'll try to make sure that we do things orderly. So the first thing to do is just kind of go through introductions. Thank Madam Chair for doing a little welcome to you. My name's Boyd Brown. I'm currently the superintendent of the school district, and glad to have you here. We'll go through some information and have a little discussion at the end, question and answer. And I'm going to kind of go down through my list so that we don't get mixed up and ask people to introduce themselves. So Madam Chair, I'll let you introduce yourself next.
Okay, my name is Marguerite Herman. I'm midway through my second term on the Laramie County School District #1 Board of Trustees. I am currently mostly through my second year as chairman.
Thank you. Christy, I've got you next. Trustee Claussen? Are you unmuted, Christy?
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hello, my name is Christy Claussen. I'm also on the board. I'm in my first term, midway through my first term, and I ran because my husband and I have children in the district, and we were just very interested in some of the policies and just promoting good policies in our district. And so that was what got us interested in the school board. And my husband served before me, and then I am now serving.
Thank you, ma'am. Tim?
I'm Tim Boland. I'm now in my 8th year on the board. Prior to that, I attended board meetings for about 14 years while I was still teaching, and I was representing the China Teachers Education Association. Decided that once I retired, I would run for the board and offer the perspective of former teachers. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Rich?
Yeah, I'm Rich Wiederspan, so I'm in the middle of my first term on the board, and I ran because, well, I'm pretty passionate about education, worked for a number of years in the school district, currently serve as the treasurer on the board. Looking forward to my next 2 years, and it's always a challenge, and I just want to compliment those of you who are interested in running for the board. We're certainly always looking for good people to serve on the board, so I wish you the best of luck in your efforts. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Roseanne?
Hi, I'm Roseanne Rimmey, and this is my first term on the board, but I've been involved in the district for, if somebody could mute there you go. So anyway, I've been on the board for a couple years now, so I'm midway through my term with Rich and Christy, and I have been in the district as parent advisory president for several years before I was encouraged to run, and I enjoy our work, and I'm glad that you guys are interested in knowing more about running for the board. So thank you for tuning in today.
Thanks. Let's go with some of our guests. So I think it's Nicholas Simons.
Hi, Nick Simons. Can you hear me?
Hi, Nick.
Hi. Yeah,
One of my old band teachers.
that's right. That's for sure.
Shouldn't
And
say
to
old.
Go ahead.
I said I shouldn't have said old. You're one of my former band teachers.
We're all getting old, that's for sure. Yeah, and Nick Simons, I'm a former band director. I've been I was teaching for 45 years. I'm now retired for about 3. And I loved being in education. I love being with students. And now, since I am retired, I'm looking forward to possibly being a representative on the board.
Thank you, sir.
You
Paulette?
bet.
My name is Paulette Gadlin, and I worked for the school district for many, many years. I think I grew old at the district. Not quite as many years as you, Nick, but I'm right behind you. And I am contemplating becoming a school board member. I have always been interested in students' achievement, school, out of school. And I just think that I would be a very positive addition to the board.
Thanks, Paulette. Next, I have Bev S. Bev, you may have to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. I'm Arnold Strayer. I've been very interested in the board and what you're doing in the district. We've been a resident of Cheyenne for about 8 years now. So I just want to learn more tonight, and we'll make a decision after I know what I'm talking about.
That's good, thank you. Darren Smith.
Howdy, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, let's see here. Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So anyway, my wife and I have 5 children. Our oldest just graduated as a senior this year. And so we're highly interested in the education of our kids and our community. And thought we'd just sit in on this meeting and see what's going on.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Catherine, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Catherine, and I'm the education reporter for the Wyoming Tribune Eagle, the newspaper in town. So I'll be writing about what some of the dialogue is here tonight. And then I also cover the school board on a regular basis. So if you got a spot on it, I would be writing about you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And Lynn, you want to introduce yourself? Thanks for joining us.
Hi, my name is Lynn Heiler, and I'm one of the trustees on the board, and I'm just here to participate and to listen and answer any questions people might have. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So starting off, I just want to give you guys a little bit of information. Normally, we would hand information out to you. I don't think that I'm sharing with the board, am I? Let's see here. Let me make sure I've got the right, there we go. There is our website up there?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I want to show you just a few things on the website because we normally hand this out and so that you have access to all of this information and to be able to look at anything you want. Just wanted to give you a couple spots. So if you go to our website, the Laramie County School District #1 website, if you click on the About tab up on the top, you can see there's a Leadership tab. If you go to the Board of Trustees meeting and information, you'll be able to get where the picture is of the board. It has board meeting information here. It has their picture. So if you go to where it says board meeting information, click on that. It'll take you to what we call board docs. And you'll get very familiar with this if you are elected and are on the board. If you go to the 7/23/20 meeting, it will give you access to the agenda and all of the documents that we have. So if you scroll down to the bottom, and if you ever always have all of our Zoom meeting information there, and there's always meetings about all of our board meetings on this spot. So then if you scroll down to the bottom, all of the things that we will be talking about tonight are all linked here. All you have to do is click on them and it will open for you. So wanted to just give you a little background on how that works and share that with you tonight. Now I've got to move my bar. Okay. Then if you go down, if you're interested in seeing kind of how a board meeting works, if you go down to live stream and past recordings, if you click on that tab, it will take you to our YouTube channel, and you can see all of this just as the most recent uploads. If you click on videos, it'll give you all of the videos that all the board meetings and videos of all of the different things that we've done over the last few years. So you can go back and check out any of the information that you'd like back there. Any questions or thoughts from board members on kind of some of that information?
Boy, I'd just like to say that all the meetings are, even if it isn't, we're doing them virtually, are shown on YouTube.
Correct.
And
I'm recording this meeting tonight, and it will be on YouTube tomorrow. We do stream our board meetings live, but we're not streaming live tonight.
And this is Marguerite Herman. I would like to comment that one of the richest resources of information about the district and what the board does and everything are those work sessions. Those are those hours. Sometimes there's some spread to 2 hours, but mostly they're the 1 hour before a regular board meeting when we get briefed on all kinds of things about the district. And they may not be things that we directly affect and govern. They may simply be an update, but they sort of inform us definitely. And so I know that you have limited time, but those are a treasure trove of information just about the status of how things are going on, programs. We had a great program on professional learning communities, et cetera. That's just an example. So if you have time, you can sort of dip into those and get a lot of background information that informs how our district is doing and running.
So next, I just want to talk a little bit about mission, vision, and values. Again, let's see, that's the one I want. We were in the middle of going through our mission, vision, and values, and our core values and our strategic plan, and COVID hit us, and so we've not finished that up. We are working with some consultants that will come in and help us, but currently we're still working with the old mission, and our mission is in cooperation with students, parents, staff, and the community, and is to guarantee a high-quality education and a safe and orderly environment for all students, inspiring them to become lifelong learners and responsible, productive citizens. The vision that we're currently working from is that Laramie County School District 1 is a premier district of learners for learners in the Rocky Mountain region where every student is successfully learning. I'm not going to read all of our core values for you, but we talk about high expectations, shared responsibility, a human connection, maximizing learning opportunities. And so each one of those is operationally defined underneath each one of those. And like I said, you have access to get those. Our strategic plan, like I said, we were working through upgrading this, but currently we have student achievement as one of our goals, professional expectations and growth, instructional leadership, safe and orderly environment, and effective and efficient use of resources. So under each one of those, we have some information about that. And if people are interested, I'd be happy to sit down and visit with them more about that. But know that each one of you can read and give you that opportunity as we move forward. Next, the Wyoming School Boards Association has a document that talks about becoming a school board member. I won't belabor it, but I do want to just kind of go through and we'll hit some high points. And then if you want to do some more reading on it, you can. Again, it just talks about thinking about becoming a school leader and being a school board member. One of the things that you have to think about is the time commitment. It is a volunteer board. Our board members put in numerous hours. Recently, they've been putting in quite a few. We normally have board meetings a month. I know that I've had them, let's see, July 1, we had a meeting. We had another meeting after that. July 13th, we had our budget meeting. Let's see, we've got this tonight. Monday, we've got another meeting. So it winds up taking up quite a bit of time. And there's always lots of issues to tackle and making sure that we prioritize them. So appreciate that. We know that our school board members can make a positive impact on student achievement and really help us make sure that we're doing what our local community wants us to do. On the next page, it just talks about what is a school board. Again, the school board is our public representation and helps us make sure that we're adhering to the beliefs and values in our education and our children and our community. School board members should always focus on what's best for students. And then again, the school board reflect the community's vision for student success. So again, trying to put students first. Again, why serve on the school board? Satisfaction, ensuring a quality education for our youth, helping shape tomorrow's leaders, workforce, and innovators by preparing students for the future, providing a voice to make our local district the best it can be with all students. So it's important, and I think we have a very wide variance in our school board members who bring a lot of different looks at what we're doing. Public education in Wyoming. The public education is a function of the state, and the state delegates a lot of that responsibility to local school boards. Although you're a locally elected school board, you are an agency for the state to carry out their functions. We are subject to numerous federal and state laws and making sure that we adhere to those. On the local side, the most important job you do is probably hire a good superintendent, and I've been trying to do my best. Hopefully people are fairly pleased with where we're headed. Can't make everybody happy, but try to do a good job with that. And then we work with you, like I said, to set educational goals by putting together a strategic plan. Sometimes we'll have short-range goals and work through those as well. Next page talks about the Wyoming Election Code. Again, it just tells you a little bit more about that. I'm not going to read through that. If you're interested, you can look at it. Everybody, I think, is a citizen of the United States, 18 years of age, and actually and physically a bona fide resident of our district. So I won't belabor that too long. The next one talks a little bit about when everything happens, and I'm going to take you over to the state, or not to the state, but the county clerk's office and share information with you. Let's see here. So if you're interested in how to file, when to file, if you go to the county clerk's, Laramie County clerk's office, and then go to the elections tab, it will take you to elections 2020. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it will show you that school districts, college, and special districts, when you can file for a school board is between August 5th and August 24th. And so after August 24th, we'll know who all our candidates are. After we know who all our candidates are, we will email them and invite them to another similar meeting to this so that we can answer questions and work with them as we move forward on that as well. Any questions on where to get information from the county clerk's office? I will tell you that the county clerk has all kinds of election information that you can get information on mailing out to all of the residents of District 1. You can get information about where people live. So it's a pretty darn good place to start looking if you're thinking that you're going to go ahead and run for school district trustee or any other office. Go back over to, so the other thing that you need to be aware of is that you cannot hold two elected offices at the same time within the state. So just some information there. Let's see, terms of office, they're either 4 years or 2 years. Usually a 2-year term is because somebody has left a seat and it's open, and so they have to fill it at the next election, so then it's only a 2-year term. Important for you to know that this is not a paid board. It is a volunteer board, and you're prohibited by law from having a significant financial in any business that does transactions with the school district. You'd have to recuse yourself. Down at the bottom, it says that today's board members say they spend about 30 hours a month in board work. I would tell you that I think that they've been spending more than that. I don't know. Do you guys feel that way?
I think a lot of us are loath to add up the hours, Dr. Brown. So,
yeah.
But I would just say that I would just add at this point that there's following what the board does and what our district does, but it's good to be kept apprised of educational trends and information nationally. I've been on meetings about adverse childhood events and trauma-informed teaching, and so there's a lot of sort of surrounding issues that you'll find yourself paying attention to and being informed about, because it does help you be a good trustee.
I don't think it's shared properly. Is that shared now properly?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. Sounds good. Sorry, and again, I think there's you can get the information. I went through a couple slides, but pretty easy information. Let's see here.
Dr. Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
I would just add that it's true, we do spend a lot of personal time outside of what's organized for us, reading up like Marguerite just said. And one thing that you need to be prepared for is you have to check your board member email every day. And sometimes that's just an email or two, or you might have 10 long emails or constituent email, meetings, papers, for you to read. So it is a daily commitment as well.
Thank you, guys.
Dr. Brown,
Go ahead.
I'd just like to add that in addition to the full board meetings, which we've had a lot more of lately, the last 4 months than we usually do, there's always throughout the year, each of us serves on different committees. And so we go to those committee meetings and we report back to the full board from our representation on those committees.
Absolutely. Preparation for service on the board. Some of the things, just to give you a little information, our purpose is to try to educate each one of our kids, prepare them for life after high school, which would either be going into military, going into the workforce, going into a trade school, a community college, or a college. So again, I think that's some things that we want all of our kids to work on. Some of the things that underneath that we're working on right now, increasing graduation rates, increasing our performance on the state assessment. We have revamped our junior high schedule to provide more information or more time in the junior high core area, and trying to increase our students' reading ability at the primary level. So we got a couple comments. I'll try to go over there and see what we've got. Keep up with that. Yeah, there will be three seats that will be for this election. Thanks, Tim. Let's see, organization, who does what? Again, we'll do a orientation if you are elected. We have 4 superintendents, myself as the head superintendent, and then 3 associates. I have a associate superintendent for human resources, an associate superintendent for instruction, and then an associate superintendent for instructional support, and they would take care of each one of those. So human resources takes care of all of our labor and issues with people on the board. Instruction, again, deals with everything on the instruction side. Instructional support deals with everything on instructional support, from facilities, finance, transportation, nutrition services, all of those. So we'll do a good job of giving you information on that if you are elected in our orientation. Finance, we've got probably the premier finance officer in the state. In our school district, we stole him from the Wyoming Department of Education. Does a great job for us. I guess I shouldn't say that out loud, should I? But he is top notch. You'll get a yearly work with the budget, and then monthly you'll get reports about our budget and where we're spending money as well. And then anytime we have to do a bid over a certain amount, you'll have to approve all those. Governance, we'll share at the end our board governance documents so that you can read through those as well if you'd like to. Work procedures, again, we do modified Robert's Rules of Orders. And again, I would tell you the easiest way to look at that is if you want to go back and look at some of our past board meetings on YouTube. Okay, let's see here. My moving forward is not working the best. Governance of the board, again, just some information here that the board has to work as a board when the majority takes action, and in a public meeting, that's action from the board. It talks a little bit about individuals, again, and then members. It talks a little bit about members below that. So again, I'd let you read through that if you're interested. My move forward arrow is not working very good tonight. Again, as you get an opportunity to look at our board governance policies, we have roles and responsibilities for the board and the superintendent in there, spelled out really well. Again, this gives you a general idea of some of the different aspects of the board. In general responsibilities, governance is for the board, administration, the superintendent. Policy the board adopts, the superintendent suggests and then implements those. Again, I'll let you have an opportunity to read those a little later, but we've got those all spelled out in our board governance policies and roles and responsibilities. I don't know why that's not working. Let's see. Roles of the board for improving student learning: set clear expectations, create conditions for success, hold the system accountable, build collective will, and then learn together. And I think we try to do a pretty darn good job of that. This talks a little bit about board members being a little bit from everywhere. making sure that we have a wide variety of people on the board, and working as a functioning group as we move forward. Talks about best board members are able to work within a team, creating consensus, having to spend or being willing to spend the time required to become informed, and taking part in all of the information and operations that we need them to, and then just a desire to serve our children and community, and a strong belief in public education. Traits of effective school boards: they have high expectations and clear goals again, belief that all children can learn, focused on achievement, collaborative and communication, data savvy, goals and resources aligned, team leadership, and team training. And we've been through quite a bit of training as a board, and usually when we bring on new board members, we go through training again, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. So engaged school board members can make a difference in student performance. And so any questions, thoughts, or anything from anybody on that?
I do have a question.
Okay.
As far as, and this is a personal thing, but as far as you said something about the not being involved in any kind of financial transaction or whatever with the school board, if you're on the school board for in-district things, they sometimes, I've been asked to either be a clinic or a judge, music wise, at the high school level or the junior high level, and sometimes even as a conductor in, like our all city things, and those are paid positions. Would that affect anything if I'm on the board?
So I might have to research that a little bit, Nick, but I do believe that the issue there is that if you are doing work that the board would, if your company was doing work that the board would have to pay quite a bit of money for, or if there was financial gain for you or your family, you'd have to recuse yourself from making a decision on that, especially if it was not large. But if it was, the thing that I can think of is if you owned a construction company and we went out to bid for a school, you would either have to recuse yourself from the start, or if you did not recuse yourself, your company would not be able to take part in bidding for that school.
Right. So that doesn't do with
yeah.
an individual thing, then that has to do more with the company.
Yeah, I think being able to adjudicate for music or be a guest conductor for music, I don't see those as being a conflict of interest if you're invited.
Okay.
I might.
Dr. Brown,
check it. Go ahead, Marguerite.
Could I just, the thing is that, what I assume is, what Nick's opportunities to work with the district would come outside of the board purview. I think one of the things that's kind of hard to delineate is what the board decides and what they don't decide. And it sounds like, business arrangements having to do with guest conductors or clinics would come completely outside the board vote. And so I don't see a conflict there. I mean, I guess on occasion something might come under our purview we might take a vote on, and that would be, and then you'd have to declare a conflict of interest and maybe recuse yourself from that particular vote. But I don't see that happening very often. We deal with policy level and what I think Nick's particular talents, which are prodigious, let me just say, would come on a lower kind of discretionary level. So I don't, if there were conflicts, it would be so clear, and then he could recuse himself. So that would be an easy to solve.
Okay, thank you.
This is Lynn Heiler. I would just add that maybe it would be good to get kind of an answer so that we don't run into any problems, because I know that as a board member, you are not able to take any money for the work that you do. Like Tim Bolin can't be a substitute in the district. I know that he volunteers his time and does volunteer work a lot, but he can't draw like a substitute pay. So just so that everybody's clear and nobody gets in trouble, I think it would be a good idea just to research that.
I can do that and get back to Nick.
Thank you.
Next, just a couple, I'm just going to kind of show you, and these are either, and this is on the Wyoming School Boards Association website too, but the Code of Conduct for Wyoming School Boards Association is also on their website. And again, it's posted on our board doc. So again, it just kind of goes down and talks about what the Wyoming School Boards Association has set forth as a code of conduct. Again, an opportunity for you to kind of read and see how that looks. I'm not going to take time to read to you tonight. You just have that opportunity to see those. And then you can go to the Wyoming School Boards Association website, or you can go to our board docs and read it there or print it off. And then there's also the Wyoming School Board's Code of Ethics. And again, it just talks a little bit about how you have to be an ethical person when you're making decisions throughout. And again, I'll let you guys read that on your own. Don't want to spend time reading that as we move through there, but have the opportunity to kind of give you just a background in it and let you know that it's out there and ask you to check that out as well. Next, we spend quite a bit of time working on our governance policies and roles and responsibilities. And I'm going to see if any board member wants to talk a little bit about this. This is one of the things that when we get new board members, we usually bring in a consultant from the Wyoming School Boards Association, go through them, talk about them, and talk about the possibility of if we need to update any of them. The last time we adopted them was February 4th of 2019 after we received new board members this last time. So any of our board members want to talk a little bit about that and some of the training that we go through with that?
Wait, I'll jump in. I think the board governance is very helpful when you're a new board member. When we were first elected in the 2018 election, we came together as a board, but we also did some conference up in Casper with the Wyoming School Boards Association. And it just really emphasizes how important it is to look at the bigger picture in education and to support all children and to work together as a team. And also that, there are things that are obviously confidential and that executive session, are followed and that we're all in this for the right reason, not maybe so much as if I noticed that by the time we finish, it dispels the fact that even if you came in with maybe an agenda on, I think all of these things are wrong, or I think we need to be doing this instead of that, it still gives you an opportunity to remind yourself over and over again that you need to look at that big picture and where your duty falls as a board member and or trustee. So difference in words there, making sure that you're a trustee and looking at it that way. So I think I found it really helpful, and I actually go back and look at those, and then how to work together as a team, how things should be presented and what to do and not to do. So they are really, I think, important to keep our board cohesive and moving in a positive direction.
Tim?
I think it's very important as a board member, even a veteran board member such as myself, to go through these occasionally. And we do that probably at least every 2 years when we get our new board members on. Everybody gets together and goes through all these to make sure everybody's on the same page. And then occasionally we will go through a section and just look to make sure it still meets what we want it to be. So even as a veteran board member, it's a good idea to go through these just to remind ourselves what it is we're supposed to be doing and how we're supposed to be doing it.
So Dr. Brown, if I could just make a couple of comments.
You bet.
So this is Rich. So, as a new board member coming through and just considering this whole concept of board governance, it was a new concept to me. I've never really heard of it before and didn't really know what it was. And I guess to simplify it, and the training that was provided by the Wyoming School Boards Association was really valuable. Really opened my eyes to a lot of things, but basically what it does, it talks about how we as a board govern ourselves. How do we conduct our business? And how do we make sure that we hold each other in check and have the highest ethical standards possible, and make sure that we do everything that we need to do to conduct our business in the public interest, and make sure that we're making decisions for the right reasons. And so the whole concept of board governance, I think, is one of the most critical things that we deal with. And I would certainly agree with Mr. Boland's comment about reviewing it periodically. I think it really is important to do that, because when you get busy and you start conducting your business, and you really kind of forget about some of these critical concepts that really are so important to what we do. So I would just reiterate that, this is really an important document, and it's the way we conduct ourselves. As you can see there, Board of Trustees Code of Conduct, all these elements are included in this, and it really helps us look internally as to how we're conducting our business. So I'd really encourage you to read it carefully.
And Dr. Brown, this is Marguerite Herman, I'd like to sort of weigh in that the Board of Trustees is unique. If you think of other governing agencies, this is really unusual, or just unique, and that this document does help show the duty of a trustee. And if you look into the law, a trustee owes duties to the beneficiaries, who are children, but we also owe duties to each other. So these are, so to sort of echo Rich, they are very good about defining the duty we owe to each other, the duty we owe to the children, and to the community at large. And so it really is kind of a very fundamental document about sort of that does distinguish us maybe from other governmental bodies. So when people try to take lessons from other bodies and transfer it, some things don't translate completely. It is a great document. I suggest, if you want to run for the Board of Trustees, it's a good document to take a look at and figure, that duty as a trustee to, who do we serve? And ultimately it is the children. And this actually draws some pretty good lines.
This is Lynn Story Heiler, and one thing that I'd like to add is I also like it that it has some delineation between us as a board and the superintendent. One of the biggest jobs as a board of trustees is to hire, like Dr. Brown said, hire the best, most highly qualified superintendent. And once we do that, then sometimes we have to step back and let him do the job that he needs to do. And so this governance book also delineates, here's what our responsibilities are, and then under those same responsibilities, here's what the superintendent is going to do to ensure that we can carry out our duties and responsibilities, and how he's going to help support us. So I really like the document in that sense as well. It's just not only our document, but it's a collaboration and a document that is a partnering and working together with our superintendent, who we hire and fire. So those are my thoughts.
Well said. Well said. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other board members? Hey, Christy, anything?
Yeah, I'll just add on to what Ms. Story Heiler just said, in that we hire and fire the superintendent, and then he runs his staff for the district. And we also review his contract every year and give him feedback on how he's doing and what our expectations are, and what we like and what we don't like. So that's our opportunity to give him feedback based on the expectations that we lay out for him.
Thank you. So there's a lot of information in there. And again, if we went through it, usually it's a 2-hour workshop. a couple nights in a row when we kind of go through that. So I won't spend too much more time on that. I want to give you some time to answer questions. The last thing that I've got on my agenda is that we always do a board orientation for new board members. I think that it's a critical thing to do. Some of it is done with the superintendent, and then we'll take time with each one of my associate superintendents. We'll have a little time with each one of the new members, and then we always have time for our chief financial officer to have some time with him as well, so that they can answer questions. Usually do it in small group. So if we get 3 new board members, we'd have all 3 of them there. Usually ask the board chair and maybe another board member to be there to help answer questions, talk about what we do, how we do things, and give them an opportunity to answer or ask questions in those small groups so that they can come up to speed as quickly as possible. With that, unless one of my board members has something that they would like to share, I'd be ready to go into question and answer. So is there any board member want to share anything?
Dr. Brown, this is Lynn Story Heiler, and you really said it very beautifully about training and onboarding. That is so important. Sometimes people think that they really know what this district is all about, but in reality, it is such a big district that it is like, I always said it was like drinking from a fire hydrant. There is so much to learn. There is so much information. And I think new board members just need to be patient. They need to try to absorb and learn as much as they can. They need to immerse themselves in talking with people in the district to learn as much as they can, but also to be patient, because it is a lot to learn. It's a lot to absorb. It's a lot to kind of figure out probably your first year that you're on your board. So I would just say being patient and learning as much as you can.
This is the part that I always think is hard on the Zoom meetings, is trying to see if there's questions and having dialogue back and forth. So any of our guests, feel free to ask a question of myself or any of our board members, or ask a general question, and I'll pitch it to whoever I believe probably has the best information, or I try to answer it myself.
This is Nick Simons. I was wondering, is the triad situation, representative from the triad situation, going to be involved in this new group of people that are applying for the board?
So Nick, that's a great question. I'll answer that question because we're working on that currently. We do have a policy change out for 45-day review that would have 3 of the new board members elected by approximate areas of the triad. That will not happen until the 2022 election if it's passed. And that's not because of us, that's because that's the way things work. So if that passes, what will happen is next legislative session, the legislature will redistrict based on population and everything, which may change some of our precincts in our district. And then each one of those districts are a voting unit, and we will have to make up our residence areas from those precincts. And whenever you do that, they don't, as you know, Nick, because you're very familiar with it, our triad lines are split to split up kids, not voters. So there are going to be precincts that cross over lines, and we can't split those precincts just because it does not work very well for the county clerk. So we'll work on that if that passes and get that done. But that will not happen until the 2022 election if that does get passed.
Okay, thank you.
Paulette, I see your hands up. Next.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say, school board, kudos. I would give you all high five, because I didn't realize how much you are responsible for. And to do it on your own time, and to really be able to answer and sincerely feel for your community, I just want to say thank you right now. And I'm learning more and more every day. So, and what I have observed that you've done so far in our district, especially with our new schools, I just feel that we are so fortunate in Wyoming. And sometimes I don't think we really, as a community and the individuals who worked in the district for such a long time, that we really realize what the school board is actually responsible for. And as I learn more and listen to you and learn about the time that you give, it's like, wow. So my question to you is, you know, as I was reading this book, it was talking about how the boards self-evaluate themselves to know that their goals are being met. How do you guys know that at the end of the year that your goals have been met?
Madam Chair, you want to take that one?
I do. I remember Paulette as a teacher at one of my kids' school, and she was head of the Panthers group that was sold the candy that my kids always desired to buy after school. So just let you know, she's been a much admired figure for years. But you know, the key to evaluation of our superintendent, of ourselves, involves setting goals and setting objectives and saying, you know, have we met them? How do we get there? How short are we? How do we fix things? And so we do a self-evaluation. We just started that process. And but I mean, that is spot on. It's all about setting goals and knowing where you want to go, knowing what the ideal is and getting there. And we have started that process. One of the things that this COVID-19 thing is kind of put on, has kind of side railed for us, and unfortunately, is setting goals for ourselves and our superintendent. We're going to get there very shortly. It's on the calendar. We'll get there, and something to measure ourselves against. But you know, we have to. You're exactly right. We have to evaluate ourselves and you know, set goals, know where we're headed. I can't think of any group that doesn't need that. So, you know, you're exactly right. And we had that kind of in the works, and we need to get back to that. So thank you for that comment. I can't think of any group that doesn't better itself by you know, trying to strive to be its better self. But you know, and also something you said that reminds me of, you know, what is our purview, and what is a struggle for sometimes new board members is knowing what is not our purview and letting things play out, knowing what we can affect and what we can't. It's kind of a tension that's good, but it keeps us on our toes. So thank you.
Yeah, and I would share with any of the prospective board members that we use the roles and responsibilities out of our governance policies, roles and responsibilities to help evaluate both the superintendent and the self-evaluation of the board. We use a rubric within that.
And the reason why I asked that question is because I'm involved in a lot of different civic organizations or parent organizations, and because of what is confronting us this next year with the COVID, it's really a scary year, and I know it's going to be a lot of pressure on the board because of what I'm hearing. And I really don't think that the community actually knows what you do, period. And I think they think that you guys are involved in everything, actually. And I wonder how we can engage the community more in what it is that you are actually responsible for. Because I think they think you're responsible for everything, truly. And I think it's because they don't understand, because even someone who's worked in the district, I didn't even realize until I start really thinking and focusing on becoming a member. started reading about it, I was going, my goodness, only 7 members. And sometimes I know that you guys get really some positive, but sometimes negative feedback from the community. But I really think it's just a lack of not understanding what the board is for and what you do, and that you do it from your heart. You don't get paid for it. I didn't even know that until I started running a couple of years ago. You guys do this because you want to, because you love it. And I know it has to be some ups and downs, but I can tell you right now, boy, parents are talking about students going to school, and they're talking about life and death right now. It is serious out here in the community. And I know most of our community want our kids back in school, but they are really, really afraid. Some of them just want them back because they appreciate teachers all of a sudden when they had to take care of their own children for a few months. But I know whomever is chosen for this board, I know it's going to be extra time. I know it's going to be a commitment. And I know you guys put in extra time, because I was looking at the schedule. I counted. I said, wow, only 11 meetings? But that's great. And then all of a sudden, you were telling me about the extra work that you have to put in. As a matter of fact, when I was under Mr. Landon, I asked him 2 years ago, how much time do you put in each week on a board member? He said, oh, Paulette, I think about 3 extra hours a week. But I'm sure that you guys have put in much more this year, and I'm sure you're probably going to put in much more next year. So I just want to say that there's no playbook for what we're facing next year. And I hope there's more, and I don't know how, engagement with the community. And how can we do that? How can we get the community engaged in all sectors of the community? Because I know why some are actually afraid to confront the board. And so maybe it's just something that I'm hoping that the school board, whether I'm a part of it or not, will really think about how can we best engage our community to be a part of some of the decisions that are made. And maybe when we put the responsibility with them alongside of us, it would be more, they would understand and appreciate more what you do. Thank you.
Other questions?
Boyd, this is Nick Simons. Hey, has there been a reaching out to teachers about how they feel about the adequacies or inadequacies of what might be in their classroom, as far as like using a mask or not using a mask, and or any of those kinds of things? Have they been approached about any of that?
Yeah, we had a stakeholder meeting Wednesday morning. And as you know, we can't get that many people together. We had about 35 people, everything from parents, paraprofessionals, teachers, counselors, social workers, shared information with them there. Some of that's going to come down to recommendations by our state and county health, though, Nick. We're not going to have a whole lot of information or a lot of ability to say one way or another. There's going to be a standard that they're going to have us work through. And we may be to the point where we're doing everything from not opening school all the way to opening with as much PPE as they're going to require us. Again, we've talked to teachers about, we know that we have some teachers that may not be able to do social distancing in their room at this point. Our county and state health officials have shared that we should wear masks at all times unless we can appropriately socially distance for 6 feet. So that's kind of where we're at. The board will get that information. The entire plan was planning on trying to get it out to them tonight. Have a couple people still working on updates from their areas. So they'll get that tomorrow morning, and then we'll have a meeting tomorrow night. So yeah, we're working, trying to get that as broadly spread as we can. And trying to work with everybody. Nutrition services is one that's really changing quickly. Some of the recommendations from the CDC, state and county health have changed as well. Some of the symptoms have changed. So putting things in there that are solid are difficult. So we are looking at using the CDC symptoms as our screening mechanism, and trying to make things as they're fluid at the county, state, and federal, using those to drive where we're at. But yeah, it's not an easy answer. As you know, things have changed from the time that we started to now. I talked to our county health officials early in June, and we had 0 active cases in Laramie County. And our discussion was, you're probably going to be able to open and not have any restrictions in August if we continue like this. And then things have changed since then. So we'll continue to be updated. And again, we'll have to be flexible as we start next year. We know that there may be something that happens and we'll have to change in and out. We may have some schools that will have to shut down for a time to be cleaned, and may have some students quarantined or teachers or staff quarantined there too. Again, it's going to be very dependent and work with those. So that's a long answer to an easy question. That yes,
well, it's not an easy question because it is absolutely such a fluid situation. It changes daily, and that's the thing that I commend you guys for. Is like, holy moly, there's so much attached to all of this that and again, of course, you're always trying to keep the students in mind, but all the peripherals with the parents and the elderly and the teachers and the staff and the custodians, and oh my gosh, lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy. So I understand you guys, there's a lot of work to be done for sure.
Absolutely. Mr. Bolin, you have your hand up?
I just wanted to say that recently we saw the results of a survey that CTA did with their members, and I think they had over 450 returns on that survey. And first of all, it had to do with what happened last spring, but it also had to do with what's coming up. So that's going to be valuable information for us too.
And we've also surveyed parents and students, and then we've also surveyed staff, so we'll have information on that as well.
Excellent.
Any other
Thank
questions? You bet. Other questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
My name is Alexis, and I saw an article today that said that there was going to be a virtual school option, and that it would be it would be under the school district, from my understanding. But I guess I was kind of curious how that is going to look, like if we're already, because I already have my children registered at the elementary, but like we said, like we're talking about, things are subject to change, and I guess I was kind of just curious if how that process would be to get them transferred from the actual school to the virtual, if that were something that we wanted to look into.
Yeah, Alexis, I'll answer that. As we moved through the summer, we started talking about doing a virtual school in May and June. In June, we started the process of looking for vendors. There are some virtual schools already in Wyoming, and people can go to those. When we did our survey in early June, we had somewhere between 600 to 800 parents or students parents that said their students would be interested in possibly pursuing a totally virtual option. We have hired a principal who has, I think, 12 years of experience running a virtual school. And then today we went through, and one of the reasons why it takes so long is our request for information and getting to where we can interview people takes quite a while through the district. So we interviewed for providers today. I did not get an opportunity to see what happened with that committee today. We'll have more information on Monday. We will get the information from our provider and our principal. We'll get information out fairly quickly. And if people are interested in enrolling in the virtual school, that will happen in early August for us. We will have to restaff our entire district to kind of figure all of that out. So it's put quite a bit of pressure on us, but again, we know that that's one of the options that we have enough people out there that they're interested in doing that we'll get that stood up and get it running as we get ready to go for this next school year. Much easier at the elementary level because we'll collapse sections and move staff members over there. We are also looking at offering any of our immune compromised staff members the opportunity to work there first as well. So looking at all different options of trying to take care of our kids and our staff members. Secondary is a little different because we staff by section and not by class. So we'll probably have to collapse some sections. We may have teachers from all four of our high schools and all three of our junior highs maybe teaching sections in the virtual school. But the short answer to your question is, as soon as we get the vendor on board, we'll get the vendor and the principal put some information together so that parents can make a much more informed decision rather than just letting them know that we're going to do a virtual school. So we'll get that information out as quickly as we can.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Ms. Rennie.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. I just wanted a little clarification when you were talking about an outside vendor. We are still going to set this up as the individuals would unenroll their child from LCSD 1, face-to-face school and traditional, and then enroll them in the LCSD 1 virtual school, correct?
Yeah, it'll be the Cheyenne virtual school.
Okay.
So they would not be they will still be attached to a brick and mortar school, but only for funding resources. So the vendor will just give us the platforms. Some of them provide the connectivity. Some of them provide the hardware. They will do professional development for our staff. They already have courses, assessments, and different things lined up in a virtual platform that is fairly seamless. So that's why we're looking at a vendor rather than trying to stand it up ourselves. So the ones that are currently in Wyoming, I know that K-12 is in Niobrara County. In Bighorn County, they have Connections Academy. I can't think of the one that's in Sheridan 1, but there are already some vendors out there. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know what vendor they chose tonight, but it'll give us an opportunity for kids that want that total virtual opportunity this year.
Okay, and they all still align with the Wyoming state standards, correct? And
yeah, that's part of standing it up, is we have to align what they're doing. That'll align with our standards and the state standards.
Very good, thank you.
Any other questions out there?
Hi, my name is Sally, and I just wanted to know, and especially how you handled the school year when essentially we shut down. Is the kids that are either homeless or have no access to a computer, and it just seems that, if they get behind in learning, it just aggravates the situation, especially with kids who might be behind the ball because they are homeless or living in a hotel, and then the library closes. And how do you, or if they have some kind of immunocompromised position and they're not really comfortable into coming into school in person, but they have no access virtually.
Yeah, and Sally, we're looking at being able to purchase enough devices. We're waiting for some money from the CARES Act to be able to do that. And some of those devices, we will have the opportunity to have cellular service. We're also looking at using our Wi-Fi at the school districts where people can go there and upload and download things. So I think that we're in a better situation now. Again, but there's not always connectivity all the way across our district. So we still have to have the opportunity to upload and download some things whenever they have the opportunity and the possibility of doing some things paper and pencil and packet wise like we did last year. We had the opportunity to get information out to all of our homeless kids. We had a couple that we do not know where they went, but we tried to track them down with our homeless coordinator. We had principals going out and looking for them. We had people from central office taking and delivering and picking up information from them as well. So again, we'll do the same things that we've done in the past, doing home visits with them, keeping in contact. We did buy some what we called flip phones, or very phones that were not very expensive for us, and put them on our cellular plan for both staff members and for our students that did not have any way of communicating, so that we could communicate with them on a daily basis.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I did have another question. I was just wondering if, because I don't have my kids aren't in the public schools anymore because they're, you know, older. But I was just wondering, especially in light of what happened at McCormick, I don't know when anymore, a couple years ago. Is there any plan for putting or having classes available to junior high, high school kids that tells about the impact that non-white people have made to the United States?
Yeah, we have opportunities for people to take some of those classes. The other thing that we've done is put in place programs for anti-bullying and for just making sure that people understand and respect everybody that are different from them. So we're working on that as we speak as well. We're doing that not only at the secondary level, but also at the elementary level.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I just thought that maybe if everybody understood that these people, everybody, not just these people, but everybody, all these people have made significant contributions to the wealth of the United States, that maybe we wouldn't be so judgmental and decide that, you know, we can bully them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm not a white person, so having gone through that experience myself, it just seems like maybe if people were educated about, you know, the contribution that everybody has made, it would help.
Yeah, and we try to do that. And you know, one of the things that I remind everybody is it's more than a school issue; it's a community issue. And for the most part, students get their values and morals from their family. We try to influence that and try to keep them to look at a broad perspective as much as possible, but we don't have total control over it.
All right, thank you.
I would just like to say something since we're talking about this subject. I know that next year we're going to have a lot of kids coming in with t-shirts that have Black Lives Matter, and I have a lot of students that come in with all kinds of symbols on t-shirts, and people are going to think that's okay. And I just think that we need heads up to make sure that we know how we're going to handle those kinds of issues, because they are going to be on the front on most of the building.
You will have to listen to the workshop on August 3rd then. That will be part of the workshop.
Okay, sounds good to me, because I know it's going to be a subject that's going to have to be confronted.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that you guys are actually ready to deal with those issues.
And Ms. Gadlin, I think that's what they in the education biz call a teachable moment, right?
You are so right, Marguerite.
Roseanne, you have your hand up.
I just wanted to add on to that we mentioned a lot about the students learning about diversity and acceptance. We also have done a lot of training with our teachers, and several board members actually took the diversity training and did some of those seminars as well. So we can always do more. I thought personally it was a great seminar and study session and talk session. It was very informative and introspective. So I hope that we will see more, and I'm sure we will in the district. But it was great that we weren't only looking at and targeting our students. We were also bringing in our administrative staff and our teachers as well, and actually all staff in the district. So I thought that should be mentioned. Thank you.
And next year, I hope substitutes are included, because there was a lot of workshops I wanted to attend that I wasn't able to.
Yeah. So we will be training all of our new staff again as we move forward this year. And we didn't get as far last year as we would have liked with some of our paraprofessionals and some of our office staff and substitutes, because we ran out of time there at the end of the year.
I know that I cannot be a substitute teacher, and if I'm chosen to be one of the members of the board, but I was wondering, and I plan to continue to be a sub until you say I can't be one anymore. So what I'm thinking is I will be able to be a sub until December the 1st if I choose to, correct?
I don't know the exact date there, Paulette, but I can get you the information on that. It's actually X amount of days after you are elected and when you take your oath. I believe it's 10 days after you're elected, you have to take your oath. And at that time, you will be a board member. So, but I can get you the exact date on that.
Okay, thank you.
Paulette, this is Christy. I would just add that I was in your shoes. I was subbing when I ran for the board.
Isn't it sad?
And that was my experience.
Wow.
Unfortunately, you have to stop being in the classroom and in the schools when you are on the board, and you get so much information just by being present.
You're right.
You can run, or you can serve at least as a substitute. You can work as a substitute right up until that election.
All right, well, thank you, because I really love subbing. I'm gonna have to choose. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to have to go because of the time. I have another meeting as well.
Sounds good. Thanks, Paulette. Question in the chat. It says virtual schooling question mark. How do you handle students who have no access to the internet? Again, as I shared, some of the providers handle that connection. So it would be difficult to not have internet connection and be part of the virtual school. Any other questions out there? Okay. Madam Chair, any final words?
No, Superintendent Brown, except to say I appreciate everyone's interest in running for public office. A school board is one of those where there is no remuneration, and most of the time, no recognition, but it's a noble thing, and I appreciate everybody who runs for office, who gets elected and serves. We do it for the children of the district and for nobody else, and so I appreciate them running, but also I appreciate Dr. Brown and his whole staff who makes the whole thing work, carries out the policies with expertise and professionalism, and we do it all for the children. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. The only thing that I would say is if you have future questions or you want more information on anything, I know that all of our board members would be happy to give up a little time to visit with you, and you're always welcome to call here or email me, and we'll get back with you and try to answer any questions that you might have specifically about running for the board. So again, thank you for being here tonight, and look forward to everyone. I hope that you found the session valuable for you as you try to make a decision as to whether you're going to run as a school board member again. So with that, I'm going to stop recording, and then I'll end the meeting. So everyone have a wonderful night. Thank you again.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Brown.
Bye-bye, thanks.
Right.